So in this video, we're going to explain the failsafe functions, also how you can initiate a bind from the transmitter, and also another really important one is saving the data to backup and then also recovering it from backup. So let's get started. So again, start from forward programming, go to other settings, and the first item that you'll see is failsafe. So let me go ahead and enter failsafe, and there are two functions that you can access here. One is failsafe and one is capture failsafe positions. So on the first one, we'll do failsafes. So you can see the first thing where it says output, that's throttle. That's simply where you're going to select the failsafe channel that you're going to program. In this case, I'll go ahead and leave it at throttle. And next is custom failsafe. So presets and hold last command, or it says hold last. Those are the two options. So what hold last command is if you lose signal, wherever that servo output was when it had the last signal, last known good signal, that's where it's going to failsafe. So what failsafe is when you lose signal for whatever reason, really it shouldn't happen, but on occasion something does happen. Like let's say, lo and behold, you drop the transmitter and you break the transmitter, or normally you can't fly these things out of range, but let's say you did, or you have some kind of a malfunction. What failsafe does is it drives the servos to a specific position. So hold last command simply maintains the servo in the last good known position until the RF link is regained, and then you get normal control. So if I select hold last command for throttle, which you normally would never do that, in fact this comes preset to low throttle, hold last command for throttle, if I lost RF link, the throttle would remain at whatever it's at. Of course in this case preset, and it came preset to minus 100%. Now what I'm able to do is go in and custom set all of the channels to whatever failsafe position I choose. So I'll go here, and let's say I want to set that to throttle kill, and we'll say that's 130%, so minus 130%. So now if I lose signal, what's going to happen is the throttle channel is going to be driven to 130% minus. I can go through and set up every single channel, my aileron for example, my elevator, and so on. So I go into elevator, I can set my elevator up to hold last command or preset, and the preset is the value that you have selected here. That value, by the way, coincides with 0% is mid stick, that's 0. 100% positive is normally considered all the way in one direction. 100% negative is all the way the other way. It does go to 150%, and it directly correlates with the outputs that are on your servo monitor. So that's how you set the failsafe settings manually, so you can custom set those. The other one is capture failsafe positions, and that's doing the same thing like when you bind. So normally when you bind the 637T, all the channels, they go to their preset, they go to the position when you bind them. So what I can do is I can, let's say I want to, set my gear down and my flaps in this position and so on. I set all the channel positions on the sticks that I choose to for failsafe, and then I press this, then I hit apply, and when I hit apply, it's going to store the failsafe positions relative to the stick positions, so that when I have a failsafe occur, loss of signal, then all the channels are going to be driven to whatever those stick positions are. The way to test this, of course, is you turn the transmitter off, and you observe the airplane and you observe the control surfaces, and they should all go to the position that you've set. So that's how you determine failsafe. The next item is initiate receiver bind. Now the receiver already has to be bound, but if you choose to rebind the receiver, you can do so from the transmitter. So this is really pretty convenient. Normally when you're going to rebind the receiver, it's because it's not bound already. But in some cases, like if you want to set different fail-safe settings, or if you want to change frame rates and so on, you can actually initiate the bind from here. So you'll see that the receiver is on and connected. So I'm going to hit initiate receiver bind. I'll hit apply. Now the receiver's in bind mode. Now I'll go back to my main screen. I'll hit bind. Hit bind here.
Bind complete. DSMX 11 milliseconds. Telemetry.
So in that respect, I initiated the bind from the transmitter and set it up from there. And of course, it's analyzing the packets. It's auto-configuring, so the telemetry information is being sent, and now it's storing the telemetry information as well. So that's how you initiate a bind from the transmitter. Then the last item I'd like to talk about in this video is restoring and saving to backup. So let's say, for example, I go out and I get my 637 tuned. I have all the settings in it for all the various flight modes and so on. And as mentioned in the previous videos, that information is actually stored in the 637T. Now, I want to save that information. And in fact, it's backup. And plus I can also, if I wanted to, I could duplicate that by saving the information and then restoring it on a different receiver. So in this case, if I want to save the information, I've flown the airplane, everything's working like I want to save those settings, I simply go to Save to Backup, hit Apply, hit Complete, and now the information is stored in backup. Now, in order to upload it, so say I have a 637T and let's say I made some changes and I don't necessarily like those changes, but I don't remember what I had before, I can simply go Restore from Backup, and it says replace this current model with backup model. I'll hit Apply, hit Complete, and now the information that I had stored in backup is now stored on the 637T. That's the current on this. So it makes it real convenient. If you make changes or you want to try to make some changes, but you always want to get back to where you were before, that function really helps.